Most of what you've seen on my channel so far are moments. Mornings, evenings, training, work, fatigue. Now these are little clips in my life that might look completely functional from the outside. What I haven't explained yet is the pattern underneath it all. I keep referring to this cycle, and if you're new here, that probably sounds pretty vague. So this video is me explaining what I mean by the cycle. Not dramatically, not clinically, just honestly. This cycle, it's not just about one bad week. It's about a pattern that keeps repeating. No matter how disciplined I am, no matter how hard I try to reset it, no matter what job I've got, no matter what I do in my life, it just keeps on coming back and repeating itself. Looking from the outside in, what people often see is that my life looks fine. You know, I train, I work, I show up, and I stay productive. I go running, I go to the gym, I've got a routine in place, early starts. I look like someone who's coping pretty well. What I've begun to realise is that's actually part of the problem. Because when everything appears to be working, that's when it's easy for everyone, including myself, to assume that they actually are. But this, what people are witnessing, is just one phase of the cycle. The cycle often starts the same way. I get a new job, I push, I wake up early, even if I ain't slept enough, I train hard, I commit to work. Some of the jobs I like at first, and for a while, it works. But this time I actually feel normal. During that phase I convinced myself that this time's different, that I figured it all out, and that the last crash was just a little blip. Slowly but surely, things start to build up in the background, and I start to pay the price. I lose sleep, I stop going to the gym, I stop eating well, I stop training right, I gain a significant amount of weight, I feel trapped, and instead of slowing down, I compensate. More caffeine, more pushing, more just trying to get through the day. Eventually it all collapses, not in a dramatic way, I don't explode or anything like that, I just stop functioning properly. Fatigue turns into mental fog, motivation disappears, and everything feels heavier than it should. Then that's when the guilt kicks in. Don't get me wrong, this isn't one big sob story, because on paper nothing's wrong, and I should be able to handle this. Everyone else does. So I'm left with no other option than to withdraw. I quit my job so I can reset, so I can take some rest. And once I've recovered just enough, the cycle starts again, because then I get another job. The hardest part of this cycle is that it's invisible to everyone else, They just think that I've had a lot of jobs. And there's no single moment that you can just point to and say, that's the problem. And it's not constant misery. There are good days. There are very good days, strong days, days where I feel beyond normal, I feel incredible. That's what makes things even more confusing, because I'm not depressed, I'm far from depressed. Then to add to the problem, when you're in the productive phase, you forget how bad the crash actually feels. So when you're in the crash, you can't remember how the productive phase felt. So the story, aka the cycle, just keeps on repeating itself. From the outside, it just looks like a little bit of inconsistency, but from the inside, it feels like I'm trapped between two versions of myself. One version that can cope, and the other that can't keep doing this. So why am I documenting this? Well, I turn 30 next year, and I'm hoping that this time I can finally break the cycle. When I keep everything inside my head, it's just easy to minimise it, to say I'll adjust next time, to pretend that it's just another rough patch. Already I've noticed that it forces me to actually look at the pattern as it is, as opposed to how I'd like it to be. This isn't about sympathy, and it's definitely not about motivation, it's about accountability. And if nothing changes, then at least this becomes a record. If any of this sounds familiar to you, well, it's probably because it is. A lot of people aren't lazy, they're just exhausted. Likewise, a lot of people aren't broken, they just function under conditions that aren't sustainable. This channel's not about pretending everything's fine, and it's not about giving up. It's about facing the pattern honestly without masking it up. I'm going to try my best to keep documenting the days, the good ones and the heavy ones, as they actually happen. Not dramatise them, and not to rush the outcome, just so that you can see the cycle clearly enough that it finally loses its grip, day by day. This is me breaking the cycle before 30.